Hello and welcome. In this video, we will learn about the position property of CSS. Okay. Now, let me go to YouTube. Alright. So, this is the interface of YouTube. If you see on the left side, you can see the sidebar here. You can see a header also. Alright. Now, see what happens when I scroll down. When I scroll down, this header remains where it is. This sidebar remains where it is. This and this remain intact even when I scroll down. Okay, even when I scroll down. Correct? So they stay intact. They stay intact. Now let us create a sidebar which stays intact even when we scroll down. Alright, so let me minimize this. Let me go to the website. Let me open up. Okay, so this is my website now. This is my website. Let me open the style sheet. Let me show you what I've done. I have set the width to 1300 pixels and I've set border none. Alright, so that is what I've done to this. Okay, now let me minimize this. And let me open the HTML file in Notepad. Okay, in Notepad. So here ends the div tag. So below this I will create one more div tag. Alright, div, and I will close it. Okay, and for this I will give a class of sidebar. Alright, sidebar. Now let me go to style sheet and here let me say dot sidebar. Okay, dot sidebar, and first let me set the width of let us say 50 pixels. Okay, 50 pixels, and height of let us say 300 pixels. Okay, and background color of let us say light blue. Alright, so let me save this. Okay, one more. Yeah, let me save this, and here let me go up and let me refresh it. Okay, let me refresh it. So when I refresh it and when I scroll down, I can see a sidebar has come here. Okay, a sidebar has come here. Now let me arrange it. So first let me say border none, because it has taken the rules of div. This, okay, it has taken this rules, but I do not want any border. So let me save it and let me refresh it. So I have this sidebar now. Okay, now first position property that we will learn is position fixed. Okay, position fixed. So position is the property and fixed is the value. Alright, so position fixed. Why? Because we are trying to fix the sidebar to the center of the screen or here. Okay, so let me write the rules and explain you how it works. Okay, now when we use position property, we have top, left, bottom and right properties that come along with this. Okay, so these work along with this. Okay, so now I will say top as 100 pixels. Okay, top as 100 pixels and left as 20 pixels. Okay, left as 20 pixels. Bottom and right I do not need it now. Okay, so let me save this. And now let me go to the top and let me refresh it, and you can see the sidebar came up. Okay, now see what happens when I scroll the page. When I scroll down, this stays fixed or this stays intact or this stays in the same position. Okay, so even when I scroll down, this sidebar stays in the same position. That is because we have set the position fixed. Okay, we have set position fixed. Now see, this entire thing is the web page. Okay, entire thing starting from here till here is the web page. Okay, but what you can see is called as viewport. Okay, viewport. What you're seeing is viewport. Now when we say fixed, it is fixing the location for the viewport and not the page. Okay, try to understand. This is the web page, and I can scroll down, I can scroll up. All right, but this stays intact. This is what I can see, correct? This is what I can see. So if I scroll down, this is what I can see. This much is what I can see, and this stays fixed relative to what I can see and not the web page. Okay, this is not related to the position of the web page. This is related to what I am seeing or what the user is seeing. Okay, now top 100 pixel is the distance of the top of the sidebar from the top of the viewport. Okay, viewport and not the web page. Viewport is what you are seeing. Okay, so from here to here distance is 100 pixels. Okay, and then left 20 pixels, that is the distance between left of the viewport to the sidebar. Okay, so this distance is 20 pixels. All right, so let me change it to, let us say 100 pixels. Okay, 100, and let me save it. Let me refresh it, and you can see it comes here. So this much is 100 now, this much is 100, and this is this is 102, this is 102. Okay, this is 102. So let me change this to 200. Let me save it, let me refresh it, and it is here. Okay, so we have this here. All right, so let me increase the width to, let us say 100. Okay, and height to 500. Let me save it, let me refresh it. Okay, now it is fine. So you may have seen sidebars like this on web pages, and sidebars may be having like, share button. Okay, sharing to various social media platforms, or they may be having newsletter subscription box and many other things. Okay, so this is how you create a fixed sidebar. All right, or fixed any element. You can fix any element relative to the viewport or whatever you are seeing. Okay, next let me create a close button here. Okay, on top right, let me create a close button. For me to do that, I need to create. Okay, so I did not close this. All right, so I opened it, and yeah, no, I have closed it. So here it is. Okay, here it is. So I have closed it. This is the opening, this is the closing. All right, now inside this I need to create one more button. Okay, one more button. All right, and I will name X, or X should be written on the button. Okay, for close, and I'll say button. All right, so button is created, and now let me say class equal to let it be X. All right, class equal to X. So let me save it. Let me go to style sheet, and here let me say dot X. Okay, dot X, and let me say background color black, color of the text white. All right, so let me close it, let me save it, let me come back to this page, sorry, yeah, let me refresh it, and you can see, we have a close button here, we have a close button here. All right, we have a close button here. Now let me say top 10 pixels, okay, 10 pixels, and right 10 pixels, okay. Let me say this and let me refresh it. When I refresh it, nothing happens. So even though I've said top 10 pixels, right 10 pixels, nothing happens when I refresh it, because I have not mentioned the position property and value of absolute here, okay. So when you mention this, this will be relative to this, okay. So let me save it, refresh it, and explain it to you. Let me refresh it, and now you can see the button changed its location from here to here. Now I'll explain this. See here, top 10 pixels, right 10 pixels of what? Of button X, correct? So what has happened is this has become 10 pixels. Top, this is right, 10 pixels. So top 10 pixels, right 10 pixels. Of which one? Of this one, of the sidebar, okay. Now this is relative to this, okay. So this is fixed. Remember, the position of the sidebar is fixed here. Position of sidebar is fixed, and now we are fixing the position of the button in relation with the sidebar. And to do that, you need to use absolute value for position property, okay. So now even when you scroll down, or up, the position of this X button remains the same, okay. So now let me bring it to the top right, okay. I do not want 10 pixels to the right and top, so I'll say 0 and 0, okay. I do not want any distance from right of the sidebar to this, or from top of the sidebar to this, okay. So I'll save it and I'll refresh it to bring the X button to the top. So what I've said is top 0 pixel, that means I do not want any distance from the sidebar to the button, okay. And right 0 pixels means I do not want any distance from the sidebar to the button, okay. Why? Because we have connected both by using absolute and fixed, okay, absolute and fixed. So fixed is for fixing the position, and when we say absolute, this is in relation with this, okay. And for it to work, this has to be inside this, okay. So this has to be inside this, and generally we use div, okay, division tags to do that. So let me change this, let me change the location of this, okay. So let me delete this and let me enter it outside div tag, okay. So now let me save it and let me refresh it here. So you can see it goes here, the button went here and not here. This is because we placed the button outside of the sidebar division tag, okay. So now these two are not related, and so it doesn't work. So for it to work, the button has to be inside the division tag, okay. So let me save it and let me refresh it to get it back here. Alright, so scroll down, scroll up, it doesn't matter, it stays the same, okay. Next, let me go to this. Alright, so here you can scroll, but here when you scroll up or down, the position of sidebar remains the same, the position of header remains the same. Next, if you see here, okay, you have a thumbnail, correct, you have a thumbnail, and right here bottom right you can see the time. All right, so this video is of 8 minutes 22 seconds, this video is of 14 minutes and 7 seconds. So you can see this. Now when I scroll down, the time moves in relation with this, correct, the time moves in relation with the image. So this time 26.53 moves in relation with this, correct. So you see the image moves up, the time moves up, image moves up, time moves up. So you can do that too, and that is your task, and you can do that after I explain the next concept. Okay, next concept, and that is by using relative value. Okay, relative value. Now what I will do is I will create a button which will be here, okay, which will be here, and that will be a back to top button. Okay, back to top button. So I already have a back to top button here. Okay, so let me delete it, let me go back here, back to top. Okay, so back to top, let me delete the back to top and let me save it. Let me refresh it, and it is gone, So I want to create a back to top button here. Okay, back to top button here. So let me do that. Let me go to index, and here this div, okay, this div is of this. Okay, this div is of this. Okay, entire page, we centered the entire page, correct. So that is this is the closing tag of that. Okay, so inside this I'll create a button. Why, I'll tell you later. Okay, and I'll say back to top. All right, back to top, and it is done. So let me save it and let me refresh it, and I have a back to top button here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to add a class. Okay, class, and btt, let me say btt. All right, back to top. Now I have saved it as btt. Let me go to the style sheet, and let me say btt and background color blue, color of the text white. All right, so let me save it and let me refresh it. Okay, so now this is done. But what I want to do is not here. Okay, I do not want to place here, I want to place it here. This is my page, correct, this is my page. I want to place it here. I want to place the button here, back to top button here. How do I do it? By using position and absolute. All right, position and absolute. Now I've said position absolute, and now I need to mention the position. Okay, I'll explain everything in detail, do not worry if you are getting confused now. I want the button to be 10 pixels above this. Okay, and let us say 20 pixels from the right of this. Okay, from the right of this. So I'll say from bottom I want it to be 10 pixels up. Okay, 10 pixels up, and from right I want it to be 20 pixels. Okay, yes, I'll save it and I'll refresh it. Okay, so where has it gone? It has gone here. Okay, it has gone here. Now I want it to be in relation with this. I want it to be in relation with this. Which one? This entire thing, this entire page. I want it to be in relation with this entire page, and not something this. Okay, not this. I want it to be in relation with this page, entire page. So we have written codes for entire, correct? Entire. We have created a div tag, and we have wrapped entire code inside div tag, and we have centered it. And here what did I do? I placed the back to top button inside that div tag. Which div tag? Entire div tag. Okay, so now it is inside entire div tag. Now what I need to say here is position relative. All right, position relative. So let me save it. Okay, let me refresh it, and you can see the button comes here. Now see what happens when I scroll up. The button stays at the same location. Just like how the time stayed at the same location relative to this image. Okay, when you scroll up or down, the location stays relative to this image. Similarly, this button stays relative to this page. Okay, so even when I scroll up, it stays at the same location. What location? At a location of 10 pixel from the bottom what? Bottom of the page, because we have entire page in div tag, correct? So bottom 10 pixel, right 20 pixels, 20 pixel of what? Bottom of what? Of this, okay, of the entire page. So wherever we position, wherever we write this rule, okay, wherever we say position relative in relation to this, okay, in relation to this will be placed. Okay, this will be placed. All right, I hope you have understood. Now there are 3 positioning property values that we have learnt in this. One is fixed. To fix something relative to the viewport or relation to what a user sees. Okay, so what I am seeing now, what you are seeing now, in relation to that, if you want to fix something, use fixed value. Okay, use fixed value. And then if you want to have something in relation to fixed value, use absolute value. Okay, use absolute value. The absolute element must be inside the fixed element. Okay, inside the fixed element. Okay, where? In the HTML code. Next, in relation to the page and not what the user sees. Okay, in relation to the page. See, now this is what I am seeing, not in relation to what I am seeing. It is in relation with the page. If you want to fix something, use relative. Okay, use relative, and then use absolute. Okay, use relative and use absolute. All right. So now it is your task to get a timestamp, or let us say I don't want a timestamp. I want X button here. I want X button here. I want X button here, and I want X button on this image. So try to get it. You have to use div tags. You can get it. So that is your task. All right. So now this positioning property is bit confusing. So if you have not understood what I have explained, do not worry, because most of the people do not understand this concept at one go. Okay, so do not worry right now. Just proceed with the videos. When time comes and when you once again go through the video, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so go ahead, practice. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.